Introduce yourself and give a brief overview of your background.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Keisha Scarlett. I'm Assistant Superintendent of Academics in Seattle Public Schools, but most importantly, I'm here interviewing to become the next Superintendent of St. Louis Public Schools. Just to give you a bit of my background, I am a wife and mother of 3 adult-age children. I'm also a district leader in Seattle schools where I oversee all of the P through 12 academics, curriculum, assessment, and instruction in that school district. I have had so many different roles over the years, and I know that every single role I've had has prepared me for this moment to engage with you and while you're making this big decision on who will be the next superintendent of St. Louis Public Schools. I've served as an educator, a school leader, a district leader, and with that experience comes the opportunity to bring a wealth of knowledge, the experience, and the opportunities that I've had throughout my life that I really want to be able to model for the students here in St. Louis Public Schools. So I am absolutely excited for this opportunity to be able to share a bit with you about myself.
What would you do to build trust and promote confidence in the superintendency and in the district? Describe specific action you would take.
When I think about building trust, it all comes down to relationships. Relationships are the connective tissue of everything around us. So when I think about how I'm able to build relationship, it really comes through my core values of authenticity, collaboration, and also equity. When I think about the opportunity to build trust in St. Louis Public Schools, it really lies on the relational trust that is anchored in doing what you say you're going to do. How are you both accountable and answerable? So someone may share accountability and answerability, and you're like, what are the differences between that? The accountability is being responsible, but the answerability is being able to justify the decisions that you've made. You can only do that by being in proximity, close proximity with people, being in community, and being accessible and vulnerable so that you're able to really hear the values and interests and priorities of people. I build trust and accelerate trust through proximity. I've always been a community-focused leader. I've always remained in my community that I live in currently, and I expect to bring the same sort of sentiment and sensibilities as the superintendent of St. Louis Public Schools. Having a chance to meet with stakeholders, educators, school leaders, working with our board members, our partners, and our students. Being able to hear what their values, their interests, their priorities, their hopes, and their dreams for their children is of paramount importance to us. As we think about moving forward and thinking about the future of St. Louis Public Schools, how do we ensure that we have a high quality school experience for students that really accelerates their achievement, that we have safe and welcoming schools, and also how do we ensure that we have St. Louis Public Schools become the very best school district in the state. That is my goal for that. So when I think about specific examples of that, I think about opportunities I've had to gather trust. We recently adopted, back in 2019, a strategic plan, and I led the engagement for that strategic plan process. This required me to meet with community members in some communities that were actually close to me in order to bring the people out who really are stakeholders in that work. We were able to gather that data. I always call it an accordion, where you go out into the community, gather wide and bring it back and do sense making together, and then share it back with people about, is this what you meant to have happen? Is this what you really thought? Did we gather this the right way? So being part of that continuous improvement model, being accessible, being vulnerable, and being in proximity to people are ways that I would build trust with community.
What experience have you had working within a community of diverse elements such as socioeconomic and educational levels, culture, race, and ethnicity?
Yeah, That is such a value of mine. Diversity, equity, inclusion are all values. Every part of my life, like I said before, has prepared me for this. The diversity that I bring to this role, to education, has been something that's been honored throughout and something that I've led with. I have built relationships and connections because of the differences that I may have with people, and have been able to build relationships through that. So I value being in proximity and in connection with people who are different. That is how we grow, that's how we learn. That's what our children need in order for them to be both citizens of St. Louis, but also global citizens, because there's an entire world of people who are different than us. So that's really important to me. In my previous role, prior to becoming the Assistant Superintendent of Academics, I was the Chief of Equity, Partnerships, and Engagement. I led policy work that was focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. I implemented policy work in order to ensure that our schools and communities were places that were inclusive, where every single person feels seen and heard and valued. And so that is at the core of the work in leadership for everyone who's leading in schools, that our students and families feel seen and feel heard. And so that's how I would work with diversity and ensuring that people of all different types of socioeconomic levels and a variety of different people are feel loved and connected to St. Louis Public Schools.
What would you do to impact student achievement positively? Please discuss successful efforts to narrow or close identified achievement gaps in your current district.
I shared before about my core values around authenticity, collaboration, and equity, and that is the heart of student achievement, is how do we all come together and create a conspiracy of care to ensure that our students are achieving at high levels academically, but also are experiencing the personal success that helps to propel them into into unlimited opportunities in their future. I think about the world as a multiverse of opportunities, that students, any one of us, should be able to become anything that we want to become, and there should never be any barriers to that. When I think about student achievement, the first thing is setting strong goals for students that aren't just aspirational, that you can meet, but also that you're accountable for with them. So one goal that we have in my current context that I've been really leading in is college and career readiness goal. It's advanced coursework through college and career readiness for them. So how many of our students have the opportunity to enroll in advanced courses that help to propel them toward high school graduation, but also post-secondary success? We know that students just enrolling in one rigorous course, advanced course, it creates an exponential opportunity for them to graduate from high school and move and persevere actually through college content. So what's happened in Seattle Public Schools, even through pandemic, prior to pandemic, our graduation rates are soaring for our students, particularly our African American males, our multilingual learners, and special education students. We've been able to move up 7 percentage points over 4 years, even from the pre-pandemic, within the pandemic, and then even post-pandemic, because of the work that we've been doing to help students feel belonging and connected, to feel seen and heard, to have adults who are supporting them in differentiated ways for them to meet the high goals that we have. And that is just one example of the work that I'm doing in Seattle Public Schools, and I'm leading with the team through the adults, through our school teams and educators, to really support outcomes for students.
Why do you want to be the superintendent of St. Louis Public Schools?
Oh, St. Louis, I am so excited about what I've had a chance to experience here today. I mean, you can look at videos, but nothing ever captures the spirit and heart of people like being in person with them. Every single interaction I had today was so positive, and there's so much pride in this place. I felt a sense of identity, safety, even for myself. I look into the eyes of people and I can see my children, I see myself here. As I drove through the neighborhoods, I could see the opportunity. I am excited about the stability of having a long-term superintendent and what that has created, but also the aspirations for this entire city and the value proposition of a high-quality public education for every single child here. I want to be part of that. I want to be part of what your district has called this next phase of renaissance, that St. Louis Public Schools is in a rebirth, that they are in a renaissance and they are moving forward. And I am laser focused on student outcomes, but I'm also laser focused on loving relationships. And we need those partnerships and relationships in order to propel our students forward with the opportunities that they deserve. So I'm just excited for any type of opportunity to be able to come here and to lead as superintendent of St. Louis Public Schools.